Welcome to our channel. Today we're exploring Barnes Cemetery, also known as Woodland Road Cemetery, a historic African-American burial ground in Hampton, Virginia, steeped in legacy, controversy, and community memory. The historic legacy. Barnes Cemetery is located at 213 and 217 Woodland Road in Hampton and spans 2 acres of land rich with history. The cemetery is named for Norfleet Barnes, the son of Julia and John Barnes. Julia, whose grave dates back to 1885, is the oldest documented burial on the site, and John Barnes, a veteran of the United States colored troops stationed at Fort Monroe during the Civil War, is also interred here. Their son, Norfleet Barnes, grew up to become a prominent and affluent figure in the Phoebus area of Hampton. In 1901, alongside William Trustee, Norfleet broke barriers by becoming one of the first 2 black men elected to the town council of Phoebus, the first such instance in the state of Virginia. A large landowner, Norfleet owned numerous properties including a saloon, dance hall, inn, residential properties, and the cemetery itself. He also led the Black Firemen Association, and his life and untimely death have become part of local lore. Controversy and legal disputes. In recent years, Barnes Cemetery has been at the center of heated controversy. The city of Hampton approved a boundary change that shifted 3/4 of an acre of cemetery land from 213 Woodland Road to 217 Woodland Road, effectively removing that section from the official city and land records, a move that violates legal requirements. Furthermore, the city allowed a driveway, part of a house, and underground utilities to be installed through this sacred space, despite being advised against it from the Virginia State Cemetery Board. In 2005, a developer acquired the property with plans to build housing. Court records confirm Barnes Cemetery was a commercial cemetery where plots were sold. This would indicate that the developer could only own land that had not already been sold and would not legally be able to own land in the areas of the cemetery that had already been sold. As part of this project, 11 bodies interred in vaults were reportedly moved from Barnes Cemetery to a new site in Suffolk, Virginia. However, the relocation bypassed essential legal protocols. Next of kin notifications, the required court order, city and state permits, and proper oversight by a funeral director were all overlooked. Confusing discrepancies emerged. The health permits used to exhume and relocate the bodies claimed to have moved 3 individuals named Virginia Barnes, even though records confirm there was only 1 Virginia Barnes, and while 1 grave, that of Frank Chisman, was alleged to have been relocated. A subsequent site visit revealed no evidence of any ground disturbance. Though the city of Hampton brought charges for permit violations, those charges were eventually dismissed, and a civil lawsuit later ended with a judge ruling in favor of the developer due to a contentious interpretation of the law. Environmental, health, and buriary practices. It's important to note that burial vaults did not come into common use until 1920, and at that time, only about 5% of burials used them. Given that most burials at Barnes Cemetery predate this practice, the appearance of vaults at the reinterment site raises serious questions. Were bodies interred in vaults that families had specifically paid for? Were caskets opened, or the remains otherwise disturbed? The concerns extend to environmental and health hazards. Historical embalming practices, dating back to the Civil War, used chemicals such as arsenic, copper, mercury, and later formaldehyde, a known carcinogen. For example, arsenic remains potent for up to 2,000 years, and each embalmed body can contain roughly 3 gallons of formaldehyde. Over time, these chemicals may leach into the soil, potentially contaminating water runoff and contributing to elevated levels of heavy metals. Studies have shown that cemetery soils can harbor metal concentrations up to 8 times higher than surrounding areas, posing potential risks to public health. Call to action and conclusion. Barnes Cemetery is far more than a graveyard. It is a living piece of history intertwined with community struggle and unresolved questions. We need your help to ensure that lawful burial sites remain a final resting place for our loved ones. Please consider contacting your federal, state, and local representatives to advocate for changes in laws and codes. These changes should enshrine the principle that a lawful burial site remains a final resting place, and that a deed should not be required to prove that a person residing in the grave paid for their site, a practice that is only a recent part of our history. Additionally, reach out to local media. Although they have covered Barnes Cemetery in the past, recent coverage has been lacking, especially regarding the potential environmental and health hazards linked to soil and water runoff contamination. Thank you for joining us as we delve into this complex legacy. Your voice can help protect and honor the memory of those interred at Barnes Cemetery. If you found this exploration compelling, please like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth looks at our local history and community issues.